Good evening.
Hi, everybody.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Oh, boy.
Seahorses forever.
Man, I could just listen to that loop forever. No, you know what annoys me? I'm talking to you even though you can't say anything back. When couples sit on the same side of a table at a restaurant, I hate that. Mainly because maybe I'm lonely and I hate when people are happy. But when you're eating, if you're on the left side and you're right-handed, your elbow gets in their face. If you're on the right side and they're right-handed, then their elbow gets in your face. It's just bad all around. Why don't you sit on other sides of the table like normal fucking human beings and not be happy and in love or whatever? I don't know. Good thing I don't have anybody, or I would, I don't know. Yeah, I would punch him in the face. But I don't know. Misery loves company. I need to find somebody just as cynical and a hater of the world as I am. Well, that's a good pick-me-up to start the show. We got, well, maybe it's just to get you ready, because there's a lot of bad shit going on. I mean, you can probably guess, but also Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl again, so that's even worse. So we'll talk about that and more downtrodden stuff. Is that the right thing? More depressing things on the Weekly Yak. It starts right now. Coming to you almost live from the iRadioWaco studios. This is the Weekly Yak for January 25th, 2018. I'm Mac, along with Norm. You there, buddy?
Dad, it's me.
Yeah. It's your son. That sounded like a radio guy voice, didn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How do you like this? These digs?
This is nice, man.
We're not in my home studio anymore.
Weems is making money hand over feet.
Is that the thing?
It's not.
I don't know. Yeah, Dustin Weems, who's been on this show. Does everything sound good? Do I sound okay to you?
Yeah.
I'm really just asking how I sound.
Yeah.
Do I sound okay?
You sound good.
Okay. I don't care about you.
Who cares about you?
About you.
Right. That's what I
okay.
meant.
You're saying that as me, as me saying that. I don't know. I feel like. Oh no, I know what that is. I got a little bit of cold in my ear stopped up. I'm like, I can really hear myself in the left channel. Anyway, transition. Yeah, we're in Dustin Weems, who's been on the show a few times.
Right.
Has I think we talked about this maybe on his show. I helped him get started with a studio kind of thing. He had a lot of people that wanted to do shows. I was telling you before this show that the closest one is around Dallas, and they had to drive all the way up there and then pay per hour.
It's crazy.
He charges them like a flat rate. I got all these notifications on my Apple Watch here. You jealous? You should be.
All right, they're just telling you, don't kill yourself. Someone loves you.
It just says, it's reminding me to breathe, which is the funniest reminder that this thing will give me. Don't forget to make your heart beat. No, it's like breathe, like it gives you like motivation, like affirmations or something.
Yeah.
You know, breathe, take a minute to breathe. You know, I'm like, fucking shut up. I know. No, so we're in the iRadioWaco studios. We're actually in a studio, and it's I kind of carved a little corner out for myself. The most of it is Dustin's. He pays the rent. He's kind of given me this in exchange for all the advice, and I told him what products to get for the studio. I kind of said all this actually is the way I would have set up a studio this way.
Yeah,
and he just like go with it.
Nah.
So the way all this is, except the camera, they move the cameras around. They actually have camera. They video everything.
That's pretty cool.
You know, I always teased us doing that, and I had the cameras, and I never recorded anything. They actually, they stream live over Facebook. All the other shows.
I must have some handsome people.
Well, yeah. They're just very confident.
Right.
We'll just put it that way.
There you go. Same thing.
I mean, we're not breathtaking eye candy either, but you don't have to see our faces. So yeah, we're here, and the reason for that is I moved out of my apartment.
Nice.
back home.
Oh, no.
My choice. Because what I'm trying to do...
Get the hell out of here.
...is get on out of here. Yeah. So this is kind of it's a nice temporary... Because I had boxed my whole studio up and just put it in storage.
Right.
But I was like, well, I mean, if he's going to let me come in here for free, why not do,
set it up?
Because we do so many shows. I just had, I couldn't not do a show for more than 6 months, even though that's happened. I want to. I've never lived anywhere else besides college, besides being somewhere else for college, and I don't know. I'd like to make a move on up to the Metroplex area.
Nice.
That's where my teams are. It's really just based on whatever teams I like would dictate where I moved. Is that smart? Is that where you should?
That's. I've heard people base life decisions on far crazier things. So
I mean, the Dallas area in bad. Like, I mean, the nice suburbs. I don't mean Dallas, like independent, because Dallas is one of the rougher school districts in the whole state. So I mean, like the rich white people suburbs.
Yeah,
those
the Planos.
Plano,
and
Keller, Southlake, Richardson, all that shit.
Oh, that's nice and insulated there. Yeah, that's good.
Insulated with white people? Is that what you mean?
Oh, yeah.
If you have enough white people, it controls the climate, right? Is that what climate change has to do with? There's less white people.
I think that's what that is.
I think is that a scientific fact?
That's
Man, white people are just getting the short end of the stick. No, I'm kidding. No. See, I'm white. You're not white.
Nope.
You sound white.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself white? Do people call you white?
I think that's they took away the Hispanics ethnicity now. Like,
really?
Yeah. If you check on the race, whenever you're
on the race,
whenever you're checking races, there's not like a brown. You just
no. What
you check white and then you check ethnicity Hispanic.
Well, I thought you just said they took it away.
No. They took. I don't think they consider brown race.
I don't think they ever had brown on there, did they? I mean, it was
Mexican, Hispanic.
White is Caucasian,
right.
Black/African,
right?
But you guys, it never said brown, Hispanic.
Maybe it never has. I don't know.
What do you do? Why don't you know stuff before you say it? I wish I was a Pacific Islander. That would always seem the coolest one.
Is there an other on there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also now gender, there's another. Well,
is it really?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't really have a problem with that. I like to make fun of everything.
Zimzer.
So, yeah. There was a meme, and this is almost as bad as quoting movies, is when we don't have anything for you. But there was a meme, a meme, but it was more like somebody wrote a text almost.
Right,
it didn't have a picture or anything.
Text conversation.
It's like it's 2058. There's 6 genders. You have to choose what the right one is, or you go to jail. Time's up. You're arrested. Or I forget what it was, but it's like all this stuff that you have to remember,
right.
and then if you don't say the right pronoun or whatever, then you go to jail.
That's it.
That's it.
That's probably not that far off from the truth.
I do have I've never said where I work, or I'm not going to say the student's name, but I do have a transgender student.
Huh.
And I wish it's hard. It's female to male. And I wish that I was never told that, because if they would have just said, here he is,
you wouldn't have guessed any differently.
And now I know that he was a she, and now I say she. Not on purpose, but I'm like, fuck, if you hadn't told me, then I wouldn't. Why even tell me?
Right.
Like, that's not, that's one of their big things, is just, they just want, whatever the gender they identify with, that's just what they want. Why even tell me, like it was a counselor? Why tell me that?
Right.
You're like, they come to you when they have things like that, like personal things. Why just say, here he is, here's your new student?
That would have been a lot
of
easier on you than,
because that's anything. Like, look, no, don't tell anybody this. Fuck. Why'd you say that? Now I'm gonna fucking say it
every day.
Every day. Geez, where the hell were we? The studio. So it's here because I was always in like a lease that ended in December.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to start a new lease. because sometimes 6-month leases are more expensive and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll pack everything in storage, live at the casa, which is, not the best. No, it's all right. Now that my mom got married again, it's better.
Ah, okay.
Because she's not all on me.
All over you, yeah.
Well, not like that, but
you know what I mean.
yeah. Well, maybe they don't. I don't know. But yeah, she's got a distraction, so it's not just where are you going, who you going with,
Up your ass all the time. Yeah,
go with me to the market or whatever. So yeah, I'd like to get on up there, and I know a few people. One of my former teachers that I still keep in contact with. He gives me advice on teaching and stuff that I talk to. He's a professor at UNT, University of North Texas.
Nice.
I'm just saying this for people listening. I know it's in Denton.
Right. Yeah.
And so I always toyed around with the idea of getting a PhD. I don't know, but that's what he does. But also he has connections because people transfer up there to teachers transfer up there to get their PhD in education, and they have connections and they get them a job while they're working their PhD. That's nice. Even if I don't go back to school, he still has connections, and he likes me enough where he would write me a letter of recommendation, stuff like that. So my plan is for the summer. I'm trying to
get up there in the summer.
Because I get summer off. That would be an easy. Everything's already packed up anyway. Most of my stuff, almost everything's packed up in boxes. Just go to storage, load that up, drive up there. So I don't know. Yeah, I already applied one place. It's still kind of early. It's January, but I did one for Keller, and they do a video interview now. Some places it's called HireView.
Like
it's
an
an
Skype
app
type thing, or
well, it wasn't live, but it was they recorded everything, which is good because especially if you're out of town.
Yeah,
and when you're answering it like face to face, or if on video it looks face to face, is way better than trying to type it out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you can. I don't know. It's just on the fly when you're kind of like conversationally and not like an essay, not writing an essay for each question. You're just kind of talking.
Yeah.
And I just use my phone. Like as long as you had a camera, you just download the app, and I just set my phone like that. And there's 4 questions, and I just.
Can you take your time to ask it, or is it once it's asked, you got a minute and a half to reply?
Yeah, you can do a practice one, and then even when you go into it, each question has like a 2-minute prep time.
Oh, okay.
And then you can just hit start if you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you have like 3 minutes each question. You didn't have to take all of the 3 minutes, but you had 3 minutes on each question.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, he gave me a list of schools that were good schools that he also had like kind of a working relationship with.
Yeah. And
most of them don't have any, which is not uncommon. They don't have any listings yet because it's still January. They don't know who's leaving or whatever. But Keller had one for social studies. So it said 2017, 2018. I guess they haven't had a teacher all year, but I don't know. I mean, most of them know if you're applying and you're a teacher now that you're not free.
Right, yeah.
So, surely, I don't know. I don't know.
Cut to them offering you the job over like Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm out. I'm out, bitch. No, I don't. They probably would. Either they wouldn't, or they would just not consider me because I already have a teaching job and they know I can't just
get up and leave.
Because then they could, in Texas they can just suspend your certification if you just break contract like that. So, but if not, maybe they keep me in mind for something else.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, some of the other ones like South Lake and like the really the real rich ones.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. I mean, it's not like.
Hell yeah,
I mean, it's not like I don't. I mean, I love the kids now. I mean, but there's just a lot of hassle.
Well, that and like it seems like they handicap a lot of teachers because they don't allow you to really punish anyone. Really, like they kind of like.
You can't even really punish them with grades. Really,
right? Yeah,
you have to give them a million chances.
Just so that that doesn't affect the bottom line of the school. So you don't have that many. Right. It's not that they actually care what the kid's learning. They're just like, hey, we don't want to.
They go. I don't have any proof of this, but I think a lot of times if you write a kid up, and I don't write a lot of kids up. I mean, maybe other teachers do, and maybe the principals are jaded because of this, because they're like, oh fuck, another one of these.
There's always another. Yeah.
But I think a lot of times they just kind of lose the referral and just say, look, don't do it again. Go back to class. Because then they can come back and say, man, our referral numbers are way down.
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, that's because you don't process them. You just look the other way.
Right.
That's got to be it. Because, I mean, the kids are still bad. There's no way. I mean, unless they're just kind of like, yeah, I'll file this in my shredder.
Right, yeah, they don't really care. Yeah.
Or then they come back to you and they say, well, did you do this? Did you do this? Like all these steps that you should have taken beforehand.
Right.
I'm like, the kid cussed me out.
Right.
It's just automatic. That's automatic.
Right,
I'm not going to call home or like take them out in the hallway and say, no, look, that's not okay.
That's not okay. All right.
What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Yeah. I know that's not what you were doing before, but it still makes me think of the Little John thing. Man, my ear being clogged is really bothering me because I feel, there we go. If I do this, if I pull my face, somehow it opens my ear inside.
Yeah.
So if I just, is this weird?
It looks weird, but
does this look natural?
Who cares? No one can tell in your voice.
True. And I can hear myself better. I love listening to me. I have the best voice. But no, man, it wasn't an ear infection. It was just a lot of congestion in my ear, because it's all connected. That's one of the I'd rather be congested in the nose. Ooh. Having my ear congested, just one side especially, to me is one of the more uncomfortable things ever.
I've never had like ear issues. It's always been nose and throat. So
I think I just didn't. I didn't keep. I kind of had and that wasn't the flu. It was like a cold. But then I took medicine just enough to feel better, and then I didn't finish.
Yeah.
And then so it kind of stuck around, And I guess it just, But I mean, you know how they're all connected.
Yeah.
You do know that your ear. Okay.
Ear, mouth, and throat doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Ear, nose, and throat.
Ear, nose, and throat. What did I say?
Ear, mouth, and well, I mean, it's the same thing. Throat. Speaking of throats, Aziz Ansari had his dick in a woman's throat. I think he put her fingers in her throat too.
Yeah, I think that was the thing.
Well, wait, are we done? Did I say everything I needed to say about my personal stuff? Do you have anything you want to say before we get into other celebrity sports, all that stuff that's not about us?
Nah, I got nothing.
Really? Good thing I carry the show, right? I mean, it is my show. It wouldn't be good if I just made you carry the show, right?
Yeah, that'd be weird.
But I mean, nothing since we've done it. Just to be, I'm trying to be, a good host here.
Yeah, no, I mean,
a good hostess.
I got nothing.
Jack squat.
Yep. I should write everything down. I'm sure I have something. I just can't think of it right now. I'm on the spot.
That's okay.
I'm nervous.
No, you're not.
Sweating through my hoodie.
Well, it's warm in here, man. You're a pro. You're an old pro at this. You're not nervous. Are you really?
No.
You're like, I don't give a shit about this show. Are you kidding? I feel like you would leave. You care so little, you would leave to take a shit and then come back.
Like on air.
Yeah, but not tell me.
Probably.
Just, yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. All right, Norm. So I guess we can go. Well, that was about 20 minutes of my personal life. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's not a good time to be a dude anymore. It used to be the best.
50s, we had it made.
Yeah, well, even up to 08, it was still good. I love when people say aught for zeros.
Odd eights.
That's what Nuke always used to say. He used to have an old person vernacular. Like Mr. Burns.
Get some petrol.
Revulcanize my tires. Post haste. I did do some. You saw it, I think, on my Facebook. I did some community theater.
Oh yeah, with the voice. I thought it was just voice acting. Was it?
Well, it was still the community theater.
Oh, okay.
No, we did a radio play,
1920s
like a 1940s
nice.
radio show. So it's like we're doing. So we did the first one I did was in October for Halloween. It was War of the Worlds, and I got to do a few characters. And I don't know if I talk about it on here, but a voice actor would be one of the best.
Oh man, it'd be great.
That'd be one of my favorite things because I can like copy voices that I hear, and they're bad enough where they sound different.
Right, yeah.
They don't sound right, so then it's like my own character. Like if I try to do a Homer Simpson,
right?
I'm trying to do it, but it doesn't sound like him. But it's just another a voice that I made.
Yeah.
So there was 3 characters, and they're all Simpson voices.
Ripped off from there.
One of them was like a FBI. You know, the War of the Worlds, like with aliens and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and it was Orson Welles thing,
Yeah.
and the legend is people heard it on the radio and they thought it was really
Yeah.
happening and stuff because it was done in the style. It was on the radio, but the whole thing was done in the style of like reporting, like
Right,
everyone
yeah.
was reporting. So one of them was like an FBI, or he was like a marshal, and I just did a Chief Wiggum. I'm doing it like, we've declared martial law. Like I just did it like that, and then I did. I don't know what the other voice, who I based it on, but it was like he was a captain in the military, and I did it. I don't even remember. I did it like a real like.
Sounds Burnsy.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was like a raspy. This is I guess it was a little Burns, but I made it raspy.
Okay.
This too, and then there was a radio operator like somebody in a radio tower.
Yeah.
And I did like the blue-haired lawyer.
Almost like the
Robin, if released, would you pose a threat to one Bart Simpson? Like that guy, you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
So those are my three, and everyone's like, "Oh man, you do this so good." I'm like, "Look, they're all just like rip-offs of Simpson characters." And then I really ripped them off. I'm just proud of it too. I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking stole everything." We did, so that was fun. And then when they said, "Hey, we're doing a Christmas show," and they did Miracle on 34th Street and Christmas Carol, and they're like, "Do you want to do it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
In the same type of production? Like
Yeah,
the 40s,
so
radio?
it was just like the first one, and then there was like an intermission, and then they did the other one. So yeah, the whole thing is you see us reading into microphones, and then but the sound effects and all, you see everybody doing everything. So it's like if it was a radio show and you just in the 40s and you got to watch.
Got to watch it happen.
So I guess that's but I liked it because like they had the music cues and the sound effect, like not just the sound effects they were doing like on stage, but also like some things that weren't like a car.
Yeah.
You couldn't just make those. You had to we had to play them like in a like over the sound system.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. But in Miracle on 34, is this interesting? I don't know. I feel like because I'm just like talking about stuff that I did. Nobody's seen it, and maybe I'm not even good at it, but I'm talking about it. Miracle on 34th Street, I got to be three guys. I was Miracle on 34th Street, where the department store Santa is really Santa, but everyone thinks he's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And they put him on trial. You know?
Mm-hmm. You were the Santa?
No.
Oh.
No, this old guy who had like a great old guy voice.
Right.
So he was him and Scrooge because it was kind of the same, but it was weird because he had the same, he didn't change his voice, but the inflection that he did, like,
was different.
Yeah. So it almost seemed like it really seemed like two different characters, even though it sounded the same. He could just act really jolly and happy and then change it and then just with the same voice still sound like a miser and just a terrible person. But I got to be the doctor who they got to look over Kris Kringle to see if he was sane.
Right.
And I did that. That's the one I did for Burns. I did that just straight up, if he could just, if he could live with somebody, they could bring him to work every day. Like, so I did that. And then I was Mara, who was the guy the attorney that prosecuted him.
Nice.
That was, I prosecuted Santa Claus. That was trying to say, look, he says he's Santa Claus, like, we're trying to prove that he's insane so we can get him out of here. And that one was that lawyer guy again, but then it turned into this is for all the old souls out there, but it turned into Don Adams. You know who Don Adams is?
Uh-uh.
Do you remember Inspector Gadget?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember his voice? Do you remember Get Smart?
Yeah.
That's Don Adams.
Oh,
that guy.
Okay.
So it turned into because it went real like that. Maybe that other guy's voice is supposed to sound like Don Adams, but it just kept getting higher. Like, Your Honor, does that man claim he is Santa Claus? Like it turned into missed it by that much. Like it just turned into Maxwell Smart.
Yeah.
Which was good because I didn't mean for it to be that. So it kind of, and then I was
that sounds weaselly and weird. Like
doesn't sound like a
lawyer. Yeah.
Like a lawyery voice.
Yeah.
And then I was like a guy at the post office. So I just, because it's in New York, so I just, about 50,000 letters or what. So I just, use guy. It's that guy on Futurama that just put an S on everything. O's nose. But there was a really cool part, and people were really, I didn't think much of it, but people were really impressed because the guy, this is so not interesting. I feel like a piece of shit because I keep like,
hey man, this is your show, baby.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a weak soul, baby. I love when we do that. We talk about stuff we talked about before the show, and it makes no sense in what we're talking about now.
No one knows.
But I had to turn around and be the post office guy, and then I had to turn around and be Mara, like in the same, like the scene changed, and I was, and then I'm like, oh, no, that's right, and they were like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's fucking right.
Recognize these skills.
Yeah. And then in the
imagine all the opportunity you might have in Dallas. I don't know if they have that sort of thing, but they got it in Waco. They got to have it up there.
Right?
Yeah.
And better. It would be 10 times better. And then in A Christmas Carol, this is the last thing, and then we'll talk about all that other shit. I was really nervous because, like, I mean, I play around with like a British accent sometimes.
Oh man, yeah.
And like some people didn't even do it. I'm like, you gotta like try to do a British accent. It's A Christmas Carol, like the whole thing. Some people just didn't do it. I'm like, well, whatever. But I was Fred. I was his nephew. You remember Fred? He was the one that comes in and it's like he loves Christmas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the very beginning of it,
Yeah.
like Cratch sits at his table. He's counting his money.
Yeah.
He's like, happy Christmas, Uncle. Like
he's just real excited. Yeah,
he's real. So it was high, but it was like the best British accent I could possibly do. Like I can't even remember. He's like, oh, I'll keep my Christmas spirit till the end. Like I tried to.
Wait, were you the only one doing that, and everyone else was just shitting? Like,
no, other people did.
Okay. I hate for you to set that tone, and then everyone else is just like,
no, yeah, they do a New York accent. Yeah. The South will rise again, man. you know when Joey was like, all those lessons for Southern accent, and it still came out Jamaican. The South will rise again, man.
Like his French
I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like there sometimes, friends. Oh my God. Let me finish one thing at a time before I go around. So I did that, and then I also got to do like a businessman who was happy that Scrooge died. They were like, and I did
when they're divvying up all his stuff.
No, after it was just like he heard these three guys, his business acquaintances. Not when they're, I know what you're talking about, but he just got to hear like people not really that upset. Like, oh yeah, he was my best friend. Oh really? Oh no, I was his best friend. Really? And they're like, yeah, he used to nod at me on the street. Like it was just three business acquaintances. Yeah. But the guy, I was like businessman number 3, and you remember the guy in Sword in the Stone, the older brother, that big dumbass guy. K? No. You remember that movie?
I remember Merlin and the kid.
But remember the guy that he was going to go joust and he had to be the big dumb kid.
Vaguely, yeah.
Well, he would say, he's like, oh, anyone can pull it once it's been pulled. Remember that? Like, so I was that. That's the voice I used for this business guy. Oh, I'll go if a lunch is provided. Go watch Sword in the Stone.
You sound pretty crotchety.
Does that sound like an old crotchety London businessman?
Yeah, I can see the pint of Guinness in your hand.
Yeah. They were saying they'd only go to his funeral if there was food. I'll go if a lunch is provided. No, I was having conversations about the show Friends with people, and like some, I don't know if you ever feel this way, but sometimes like any show that you really like a joke really doesn't feel like it's like a joke for that show, or it's really stupid, and you're like, what the hell was that?
Right.
All right, kind of. Are you talking?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Say something?
Hello.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my ear's probably fucking up. And
what was the joke? What
No, it was that French episode where I'm like, is Joey really that fucking stupid that he thinks blah 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 blue is speaking French? I hate that. It annoys the hell out of me.
I feel the same way about that. Maybe that character, but I think the biggest example of that to me is Boy Meets World. Whenever Eric starts off as kind of a
he's just kind of
little brother, but he's smart. He's not stupid.
Yeah,
and
maybe he's just a little
by the end
slow.
Of the show,
he's just retarded.
Biggest idiot.
Yeah. Well, Joey, Homer Simpson. Like you have to keep going to make it funny.
Yeah.
You have to keep pushing that and also like because all this the climate's changing, not just actual climate, but sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah.
They're really picking apart shows, like TV shows are like they do it to Friends, and they're like, man, Joey's a womanizer, like he's just like, but they don't they'll slut shame Monica for sleeping with some guy on the first date. Ross had a really they didn't like in this article, they didn't like how much of a problem he had with Freddie Prinze Jr. being a male nanny.
They must have had a lot of problems with what Chandler was saying.
Well, they also said that they didn't like how him being gay was a joke or an insult, and there was a lot of lesbian jokes about one thing I will agree with for sure. They always made fun of Ross for marrying a lesbian like it was his fault.
Right? Yeah.
He didn't know. I mean, it's still funny. I think that's the joke, that they blame him even though he had no control over it.
Right?
What
yeah.
do you know? You married a lesbian. I feel like you're fading in and out.
I can hear it too.
Yeah. Something's up.
I don't know what's going on.
Hang
Hello.
on. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Try it again.
Hello. Hey, you.
Get into my cup.
Shut up, baby. I know it.
Shut up, baby. I know it. Say some more stuff.
Is that better?
Say more things.
Okay, more things.
Does it sound like you're okay?
Yeah, and now it sounds a little bit better.
Okay.
I think the echo was throwing me off. There's an echo in the room a little bit. So.
Oh, I think you just need to eat the mic here.
Yeah, just keep it with that mic.
I think it's still doing it. Oh, I don't know. But again, this is our first show in this new place, so there may be a few bugs. So anyway, we were talking about the Aziz Ansari thing, because there's all that other stuff, Harvey Weinstein and Louis C.K. and who's some Bill Cosby, all that shit. Those are bad for sure. But this, and I was telling you too that I've read things where people are split down the middle almost, like men and women.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Oh man,
do you need more? Can you just not riff on that by yourself?
No. I definitely don't think that. I think stories like that hurt the movement that people are trying to rightfully start.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea that everything falls under the same category, no matter how bad. So Weinstein, Cosby,
somebody
Louis,
said
all get thrown in.
Somebody said, I can't remember which guy, but there's levels. Was it Matt Damon, where he said that thing about? Are you saying that a pat on the butt is as bad as? Was that him?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
you didn't see it?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But no, yeah. I think that idea of buyer's remorse, or maybe not buyer's remorse, but just this idea where a girl can go into a situation. Let's start looking at things a little more practically. It's a first date.
Mm-hmm. She
She decides to go up to a guy she barely really even knows,
right?
Who she already claims rushed through dinner. So it's kind of clear what he had in mind. It's not as if she wasn't aware of what he might try up there.
Well, why don't you just say it again? Let's put it out there that it's going to be bad no matter what if we try to explain anything away. We're not victim blaming,
right? But I think you have to be.
If you knew you weren't interested in sex at all, don't even go up to even go to the room at all.
Or the minute that he tries to take your clothes off, say, "Hey, I got an early morning."
Yeah.
If you know what I think is that she was struggling more than she let on.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "Don't want to do this. He's a famous guy. You got naked quick enough." So
right.
It's not as if and there's nothing on there where she's like, "Well, I was trying to pull my pants and he didn't do it." It sounds like she got naked pretty quickly, fairly easily.
Yeah.
So this idea that I'm sending him all these nonverbal clues, it's like, well, the biggest nonverbal clue he can see is that you're butt ass naked. That to me, it's kind of hard to, like we were talking about. Something that I've heard is that you're the governor of your own body. You don't, if that's not something you want to do, then don't do it. I understand this idea of well, he's a powerful guy, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
But I don't know him personally, but he's not that imposing of a guy.
He seems like someone that if you told him something directly, he wouldn't be the type of guy that'd be like, "Shut up, baby, I know."
Well, how come you can't just get confused? How come that can't just be a thing?
Yeah.
That seems like a normal. Everything about it was like a quote normal thing. It was a date. It wasn't. She wanted a movie career,
right? Yeah.
Or you know what I mean. It was just
and that's the thing is there's this. I don't know. Aziz has probably slept with more girls doing that sort of game plan in terms of like, I'm going to meet a girl, we're going to have a dinner, we're going to go back to my place, and it's probably going to go the way I want it to go. But I don't know, man. I don't know how you can think that is sexual assault when it just sounds like a bad first date.
Yeah.
It just sounds like you put yourself. It sounds like you were wishy-washy on what you wanted in the first place. So, and then once you were naked, you were like, well, I'm kind of already here. I might as well start blowing him. Well, I mean, that happened more than once. So it's just kind of like, I mean, I don't buy that it's sexual assault. I really don't think that's. I mean, because I think in a lot of ways she's doing a disservice to the women that have been actually, drugged and raped or just raped. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't get to lump yourself in with them because you're uncomfortable with the things that you've done.
Right.
Like, just because you're a little.
I mean, maybe it was bad. Like, maybe it wasn't. You were uncomfortable, but it's not. I mean, the Matt Damon thing I was saying, there's levels to this. Right, like, don't say you can't be with the Cosby and Weinstein people from this.
Right.
I mean, okay, maybe, I'm not saying we shouldn't have a discussion on guys being more perceptive or whatever, but
sure.
What about well, his career is an issue too, but like I need to stop reading comment sections and things.
Right.
But they'll say it because everything's in the court of public opinion now. Nothing, there's a lot of guys that are just going to they're going to stick to being guys, and they're like, well, it's innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
Well, true, but like, just like, even for a long time, even the allegation of something is just as damning as actually being convicted.
Right. Yeah.
Like on the other side, if a girl gets upset and says you raped her, even if you get cleared, it's still like, oh, well, maybe somebody didn't hear the end of that verdict,
right,
or whatever, and they're like, oh, did you hear? I remember hearing that he like raped a girl.
Right. Yeah. And
you're like, well, fuck, I didn't really, but they didn't hear that part.
Well, the initial story never gets always gets more attention than the retraction. Like, the first thing. I mean, that's true on Twitter. I mean, I've seen a bunch of like just stupid tweets that come out, and then people have to either retract them or
redact it.
Yeah,
redact it.
Take it down. But yeah, I mean, this idea that everyone, I think the point of saying that, you're a strong, empowered woman flies in the face of this idea where this girl's like, well,
I was powerless.
Yeah,
just because he might. I'm like, I don't. But and also I it's hard, and I'm a guy, and maybe that's why, but it's hard for me to buy that it's just no matter what, because of guys have been so shitty, and I'm not saying guys haven't been shitty over the years,
right?
But like, you're always just worried about saying no, and then you may be harmed,
right?
Like,
yeah,
always,
all the time.
So why even go out?
Right? Yeah, stay at home, lock the doors.
I mean, maybe if you've had like a traumatic, like if you're one of those girls that got locked in a dungeon for 5 years,
right?
Okay,
sure, you have
but like, I mean, a constant fear of always, if you say no to a guy, then you never know what's going to happen.
Well, I also think that like this whole everyone has their own story, and so I think it's credible that when she's releasing these texts or whatever, Aziz says something to her the next day, and he's like, had a good time, and she's like, well, I'm glad you had a good time.
Well, yeah, he didn't
let me
even
tell you this. And he was
just
like, whoa, hey,
he was just like, hey,
really
it was a great time.
Yeah,
he was completely unaware.
Yeah, he didn't even know, and that's the thing. Like,
but people have read the same story, and they get different opinions every time.
Right.
Like, completely different. Like, some people are like, well, the nonverbal cues. She definitely said no, but like, how mixed? I mean, did we talk about how mixed of a signal is? I said I pushed you away, but I'm naked.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Or I pushed you away.
There's got to be some onus. Like, she's got to have some kind of response. I mean, you can't just say, nah, she had no power at all, because he's a guy and she's a girl, and for years girls are conditioned this way, guys are conditioned to just take whatever they want, and that's just how it is. They can't. And again, maybe I'm a guy, I don't get it, but it just seems like, as a human,
right? Yeah.
In human behavior, it just seems like, yeah, of course there are some women that get just beat down by men. You're shit. You're nothing.
Right.
Okay, then you're. But I mean, And we were saying before, you just said a minute ago, wait, are you powerless or are you empowered?
Right, yeah.
Like, so it's both, like, sometimes, but not always, like.
We have to read your mind, essentially, like, whatever. Yeah, that whole thing, I didn't really, if people are trying to promote him in that situation as a Weinstein or in that same breath, it's like, well, I don't buy it.
Yeah,
I really don't. Just because.
But it was just haven't we all had bad dates?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, didn't I tell my story on here where the girl wouldn't let me go and I was scared? I didn't know. I mean, and it's like, I could still get murdered.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
By a girl. It's not just, but.
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
I agree. I mean,
there's so many things to talk about and so many angles and so many scenarios that you could like, and it's just more it's frustrating to no end. Like,
right? Yeah, I think it's more frustrating from a man's perspective because in that situation he thought they had a good time,
right? And
so that means that whatever nonverbal cues she was sending, they were getting mixed up or they were getting drowned out by the fact that she was naked. So that's problem number one. You're going to someone's house that you don't have an established relationship with. You've already said that he's rushing the date, so you kind of have an indicator. That's a nonverbal cue. Hey, if I'm rushing through dinner and I'm inviting you up to eat, or I'm inviting you up for something, that's an indicator that, hey, if we start kissing or something and clothes start coming off, then something's going to happen.
Right.
And
clothes came off. That's the one. That's the biggest one for me.
Right, and you're
naked.
Right, and you're an adult. You have every right to say, "Hey, man, I don't want to get naked." Like Aziz didn't seem like it, in terms of how he reacted through the text and everything else. It doesn't sound like the type of guy that's gonna be like, "Yeah, you get naked right now."
The reason why this is frustrating for us is because you say that, but then whoever, feminists,
right,
or male apologists or whoever, not that those are bad people, but they come back with, well, that's how it's been, you never,
so that's
it comes back, well, guys, they expect this, you're afraid, you don't. I'm like, but that's not, that's the other one that's troubling,
right?
Because it's no matter what,
there's never a sense of responsibility. Like, that's my biggest issue is like from that point, if you're that person doing that up there, then yes, Aziz, you have a responsibility to treat this woman with respect, and you have to do these different things. But the thing is that if she's allowing you to take her clothes off, or she's doing her own clothes taking off, or whatever, she's starting an engine. She's starting a process. She's getting ready to have sex.
Yeah,
or at least that's what the nonverbal cue says. And
when did she say? Was she still clothed? I can't even remember. Was she still clothed when they were making out and she pulled away?
I don't know.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But I mean, there's some onus on. There are two individuals, and I understand that historically, like, yes, a lot of guys have used their strength or whatever to coerce
being a man,
right? To coerce women into having sex or whatever, but in today's day and age, with everything that goes around in terms of equality, and we're the same type of whatever. Where's the sense of responsibility in terms of, I don't want to be put in that bad situation, so I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
You want to have a second date? You want where is that?
Yeah.
And you can't put it all on that one guy because there's too many factors in terms of what happened. By her own admission, like, she didn't say anything about, like, he forcefully took my clothes off, he forcefully did these different things. He was forceful in terms of how he was still trying to get it in.
Right.
But, I mean,
so
I don't know.
So before, nobody's going to send any emails about this because nobody listens to the show. But just let's say people listen to the show. Nobody, like, I'm going to speak for you. Maybe, I don't know. We're. Okay. It's just, okay, all these things may be true. Like, women may be afraid to say anything because they don't know what's going to happen. They're conditioned to think to just, please men and all these things.
Right.
It's true. I'm not saying that that's not the case. a lot of times, most of the time or whatever. But you were saying the responsibility, it's got, okay, fine, but still, you can't, can you just be just absolved from responsibility?
Right, yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to say it in a smarter way, because nobody's blaming any victims.
Right, yeah.
But yes, okay, all that stuff. But you still got to, like,
right, you still have
be
to,
your own person.
You still have to make decisions for yourself. And that's the biggest thing is, like, at a certain point, she was like, okay, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And she did. And he didn't do the thing that she thought he was, the thing that she used as an excuse to get naked, which is probably more along the lines of, I get to bang a movie star. Is this something that I want to do?
It would have made more sense. Like, I would have understood that more if she, like, stayed all night because she was afraid to leave.
Right, yeah.
But you were afraid, you didn't stop it, and then you ended up leaving. So, she didn't say anything about, like, I had to muster up a bunch of courage to finally break out of there or whatever, But, like, I would understand it more if she didn't leave until the next morning because she was so terrified of what would happen.
Right.
Like, because he's a male.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, like, so you stayed a little bit. You didn't feel like you could leave, but then you did leave.
Right.
So,
and nothing happened. Like, he called you an Uber, all this other. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, can't you just say, like.
I think the idea.
Maybe, I don't even know if he was being a jerk or, like, why can't it just be like, hey, like. Maybe we don't move so fast next time or something.
Yeah, right.
Or can it just be even I don't even think it was a misunderstanding, but can it just be a misunderstanding?
Right.
Does it have to be he's a predator?
Right, yeah.
And, like, not, I mean, some people just are not, I mean, he happens to be a man, but some people are just not perceptive of things.
Right.
Even though I don't really think that's what it was. I mean, as a regular dude, if a girl got naked without me having to do much, I would think that was she was into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And now there's this thing, enthusiastic yes, right? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And there was even a lady wrote. See, and when women will write, like, not even things saying, oh, like, this is complete horseshit. They'll just say, hey, why don't we just kind of think about it? They're like, well, you're just what are you doing?
You're part of the
You're part of the problem. You're part of them.
Yeah.
Like, she was saying, how much fun is that going to take out of sex if you have to get? It's like the contract on Chappelle's show. What is it? What was it called? The love contract or whatever.
Yeah. Don't you tell nobody about this.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I won't.
Or I'll sue your ass.
Right, you won't.
You right?
Kobe.
So, like, that was a joke, but now, whoa, shit. Now apparently that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
But she was just saying, like, but the romance in like, because it's gonna scare normal dudes off from, like, and girls get upset if you ask.
Right.
Like, they're like,
you're taking
just,
all the romance, the passion out of it.
I don't want to come up to a guy and have him ask me that. Like, that used to be the loser thing to do. Don't ask her, like, like, you have to, be charming and woo her and do all these nonverbal things, right?
Yeah.
And now it's fucking shit. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what, like, at me as a guy, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, man, it's definitely weird because it's like,
and I know we're not on the same level. These are celebrities, and I know that's it's different,
right?
But still, like,
yeah, well, you have that fear that, to a certain degree, I think this has a lot to do with people that say, well, I'm gonna live my own truth, and if enough people tell me that I was sexually assaulted, then I think they can change her mind. Like, you have those girls that say, hey, well, if you regret sleeping with that guy.
If this had happened at any other time before this was, all these horrible things are coming out.
Right.
It's like, well, maybe I was sexually harassed.
Right, yeah.
Well.
Maybe they do have a point.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you
the power of suggestion
you
or
didn't
persuasion.
say no quicker than you wanted to, and you ended up blowing a guy twice that you didn't really, it sounds like you didn't really want to.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway, and now you kind of feel either embarrassed or kind of used.
And again, like they always talk about, it's the court of public opinion, not real court. But then, like, doesn't shadow of, like, if this were a court case, and I know it's not, and I know, like, this is such a guy answer because all the guys will go straight to innocent or proven guilty.
Right.
But, the shadow of a doubt that's cast from the fact that people do, women, but anybody, if you regret something you did, wouldn't you just say, like, you would just change, like, if you regretted having sex with a guy, if a girl regretted having sex with a guy, and then like so much so that you went and said he raped me or he did this against my will. I mean,
that's crazy. I mean,
like, because that has happened, right? That has happened. So why can't you say, well? And it's like, well, you're blaming the victim, or you're just, or whatever they say.
It's like you can't have an honest conversation about it because someone is so quick to be like, well, you're just like them. It's like, well, hold on, we can have an intelligent conversation about this without you thinking the worst about me.
Yeah,
like I heard someone say, this is no different than giving someone a loan and then immediately regretting that you loaned them the money and saying they robbed me.
Yeah,
like there's no moral difference there.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, for people that think critically, I don't think it cuts the mustard. That's an old saying. I don't think it holds much weight, because I think people that are honest with themselves can say, I've been there before. I've been in a situation where I was like, I don't know if I should, and then they end up doing it, and then they either regret it, but that doesn't mean that it was sexual assault. It just means that they made a bad decision, or it's something that they want to take back. But that's far from sexual assault.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest loser are the women that do have sexual assault happen to them, and then they get caught up in this whole wave of.
Well, it comes back to that. Yeah, it really does hurt the real. Nobody's arguing that the Weinsteins and the Cosbys, and as much as it hurts me to say Louis C.K., like all that stuff.
Which I think like we were talking about levels. I don't know that Louis is in that same level with those guys.
True, he didn't drug anybody.
He's not raping anyone. Right. He's not.
Yeah, again,
and I'm not a Louis apologist.
Right, no. Still a bad thing, but yeah, he's not. He didn't rape anybody, and still, I mean, I'm sure some of them are still scarred or damaged because of it. But yeah, it's not the bottom level, but it's not the top either. It's pretty close. It's still bad, but
it's still shitty, but it's not.
See, and I think doesn't that I'm not trying to prove our goodness that we're good people, but. I mean, it's not like we're saying, all these bitches are just lying and stuff. I mean, me and you, I mean, I think we're good guys, but I mean, I like me and you, so I would say that. But I mean, there are, like I said, there are some guys who are just saying, the girls are just like being whatever. But no, all that's bad. And why can't we just, thinking critically is a good thing. I want to have all the angles and all the reasons. And this isn't as bad as this. Things can be both bad, just not as bad.
Right.
I mean, isn't you have levels of drugs that are marijuana is not good for you. Well, it depends on, I guess, if you have glaucoma, it's good for you. I mean, it's still a drug, but I mean, Well,
just look at the outcomes. Like Cosby has to defend himself.
I want to talk about drugs.
In court. As far as I know, Weinstein, there's not been an actual.
He just went to sex rehab,
right, for one day, and was like, "Hey, I'm cured." Louis got all his shit taken from him.
Yeah,
and what he did wasn't necessary. I mean, what would you categorize that as? Are they bringing up charges against him? Are they doing these different things? I don't know, but
why isn't Weinstein is he getting sued? Is it
no
legal?
Idea.
I mean, I know he's not. What was his Miramax? No, what was his?
It was Miramax. Yeah,
Miramax was his company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, he's not there anymore, but he still got millions of dollars.
Right.
Is something going to happen to him?
Right.
But it seems like the less severe, the lower on the totem pole, the worse it is for you.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Louis was just less, not completely excusable.
Right.
But now he's got, is anybody, I think, he had Netflix deals. Those are gone.
Right. FX stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Spacey, I think, probably got what he deserved because he was molesting, it was like a kid.
That and his apology, if you want to call it
I'm
that,
gay.
It was just ridiculous.
We talked about that one on the last time. I can't believe that was that long ago. They completely just, everything got him at it. A movie that he got replaced with Christopher Plummer. I forget the movie. But they
all the money in the world. Yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah.
They even Wahlberg and they even came back and refilmed stuff with him because they felt that strongly. I forget who the girl was, but
what about that idea? There was a lot of people that were upset with Wahlberg and Michelle Williams. Did you hear about that? Like, there was a pay difference.
Oh, uh-huh.
He got paid like something like $1.5 million, and she got paid per day.
Didn't he give
per
that
diem.
away? Didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. But do you think that was the right thing to do?
Him donating?
Well, yeah. In terms of, he negotiated a contract.
But wasn't she a supporting actress too?
She was, yeah. She didn't have as big a part or as many scenes to do with that guy. So it's just it's weird that people are like, Mark Wahlberg is the biggest draw in the box office today. He made the most money in movies last year.
I think that goes back to levels,
right? Yeah.
Of pay. Like if you're co-headlining a movie, and you're both big star, like
equally billed.
Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks,
right?
They should both get the same amount.
Probably, yeah.
Yes, Meryl Streep. There's no reason she should get less than Tom Hanks,
right?
But yeah, if you don't get an Oscar you don't get the best lead in a picture Oscar if you were in the supporting role,
right? Yeah.
So why would you get? I mean, there's why does the boss get more money than the people underneath? But I mean, if she had less scenes and she was a supporting actor, should get less than a leading actress,
right? Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing is like, there's no room for.
But now in this climate, they just look at it. She's getting less than him.
What do you have in between your legs? And everything else is thrown out the window. It doesn't matter if you're the biggest box office draw. If you statistically, you bring more to the table. It doesn't matter. Like it's not a matter of whose acting is better. It's who can put butts in seats, because that's all they're worried about. That's what you're getting paid on. You're getting paid on who can bring.
You can be, even if you're like, I don't think The Rock's a particularly great actor, but he gets people, he gets butt in seats.
Yeah. So it stands to reason that he would get paid the most.
Right. You could be, even if you're like a classical Shakespearean actor, you're the best actor, but nobody comes to see your movies.
Right, yeah.
Well,
it's this idea. Like, I remember hearing something about, you ever see that show Shameless? It has William H. Macy in it. And,
no, but I always see it's on Showtime.
So I don't know it very well, but I know that.
But I'm going to talk about it.
Well, because I read something about it. It was this the lead actress, whatever her name is. She
doesn't matter because she's an actress. So I hope she gets paid less.
Well, she comes, and I think at this point, I think she is as big a draw as William H. Macy is.
Yeah. Well, here I have a computer. Keep talking.
And so she came and she was like, "Hey, I'm not going to do another season of the show unless I get paid as much as he does." And they were like, "Sure, okay." And they gave her what she wanted. And then she goes, "Also, I want to do it retroactively." So I want to go back to the beginning of this series and say that because I'm as big a part of the show as I am now, that you need to pay me back.
Amy Rossum?
Is that her?
She's just a second. Who does she play? Fiona?
I don't know the names, but I know she's. They were
the eldest daughter. Is she the oldest daughter?
I think so.
Well, she's this after.
She's like second build. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So she wants to make as much as she wasn't making as much as
but she wanted.
Macy.
And at this point, I'm like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. And she's a part of the show, I guess, or she's as big a draw. You can't do the show without her, sort of thing. Yeah. But to say that, hey, I was as big a name as William H. Macy was when this show started, so pay me like you did him back then. It doesn't seem. It seems like they're taking advantage of the whole equal pay thing. It's like,
let's see this. It was on. Oh, she's cute actually. Amy Rossum. She's 31, so 8 seasons. So she was like in her mid-20s when it started, and that was probably her first big.
I don't remember. I don't honestly know. I don't know that she's had a big break other than this show. But
let's see, her filmography.
I don't know. I guess
Day After Tomorrow. She was in. That's who she is. She's in The Day After Tomorrow. She was Jake Gyllenhaal, the girl he liked when they were huddled up in the after the winter hit after the.
Oh, she cut herself, like the one that gets cut. On the car, I think that's what happened.
Is that yeah? Well, I remember he's just the girl he has a crush on.
Oh, okay.
And they're in the library together, and there's that black guy or whatever. But everything. Dare, Inside, Beautiful Creatures, Before I Disappear, Comet.
Well, it's just.
I mean, not that though, but yeah. I mean, William H. Macy
is William H. Macy.
Well, yeah.
And
it's not just because he's a dude. Well, like if it was Meryl Streep, I keep going back to her and her.
Right.
Meryl Streep should get more money.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. Is there's this black comedian, Monique, that's getting mad at Netflix because she's not making as much as Amy Schumer. It's like, you're not as funny as Amy Schumer.
You're right.
you don't put
You're
the
not
butts
as
in the
successful
seats.
as Amy Schumer.
Yeah, you don't put the butts in the seats that she does.
There's a good female versus female thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Amy Schumer shit, and now you can turn it into black and white,
Right,
I guess.
yeah. And that's exactly, I bet, where she's coming from. It's
Yeah.
just like, it's because I'm black or it's
Well,
because
no,
of this.
Dave Chappelle over Amy Schumer. Probably Dave Chappelle would get more. He's in it since he was 18 or 17 or whatever.
Not only that, but I heard his Netflix specials are the most watched thing on Netflix since the inception of Netflix. Like, that's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't this way. I mean, it is. It's just, you know.
Right, yeah.
But I don't know. Good thing we're not famous. What a time not to be famous now. All right, let's talk about like sports instead and get off. That was really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Again, nobody listens to the show. I mean, some people do. I worry
that you're going to get some.
Well, I mean, I don't want to come off as just tone deaf dudes who talk. But it's like, we're still allowed. We can talk about it. Like, it's frustrating. Right. I don't understand. You know.
And that's the thing is, if I had heard one intellectual reason, if I had heard a well thought out defense of why this is sexual assault, then it'd be easy for me to
Aziz.
Yeah,
Aziz's thing.
Yeah,
okay.
If I had heard one, one thing that took into account everything that happened, that looked at it from a perspective of, Aziz's response the morning after, and the fact that he didn't pressure her to. Actually have sex. He once she was like, she put her foot on the ground. I was like, no. If she had done that the minute that she started getting naked, a lot of this is just it's maybe still a bad date, but at least there's no buyer's remorse on her end where she's I wish that hadn't happened.
I mean, I don't know Aziz personally, obviously, but I mean, he seems like a guy who's perceptive. He seems like not an idiot,
right?
And I mean, and I've made out with a girl, and if she's not into it,
right? Yeah.
I mean, there's not.
Right.
Yes, there are a lot of guys who will just say, "Oh, whatever, come on," just
right.
No means yes or whatever.
Right.
But I think a lot of us, during that, you shouldn't. A lot of people say, "Well, she would just said no and just left," and then all that other stuff comes in about, well, she can't because she's worried.
Right.
But you should all I've always been just told, if a girl's not into it, she's always just said no.
Right.
And I know that's my experience. It's a very small portion of the population that I've had any interaction with. But I've always been said, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And again, that's, I'm sure that's similar for you.
Yeah.
But, just like you can't lump every guy into that. I know you can't say, well, there's other guys that are bad, but either way, good or bad, you can't lump every guy,
right.
every person into the same thing.
Right, yeah.
So, but it's hard to, I don't know. I mean, I've had experience with I'm not trying to say I fucked a bunch of women, but I've had experience with women, and every time a girl has not wanted to, she has said, I don't want to.
Right.
She's never been scared or whatever,
right, yeah.
Yeah. She just. So I guess maybe that's why it's hard for me to understand, because in my experience, limited, because I'm just one guy.
Right.
If a girl hadn't been into it, she just said, nah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't do it.
Right. You don't then go straight back into trying to get her pants off.
Right.
Right.
All right. So Tom Brady, is he the best ever? Or what the fuck?
Fuck. Yeah.
Man, I was pulling for anybody but the Patriots. And now it's because I get, I guess I'm a Cowboys fan, and I can't root for the Eagles.
Ooh,
fucking shit. I was rooting for the Vikings and
Jaguars.
And the Jaguars.
Yeah.
And man, they almost did it.
They freaking almost had it.
If they didn't have 100 yards of penalties, good God.
But the Patriots had more than 10 yards with the penalties.
Well, yeah. Well, and it's funny, they can't, when people, I don't know if they psych themselves out or whatever. It's because Brady, I guess, he's so good. Mm-hmm. Every time it's a deep pass, they will just fucking pass interference all day.
All over the
I'm
place.
like, what are you doing?
They could just
He's too good. Plus, you're giving him all these.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they get nervous and they're like, oh, fuck. I just got to pass interfere. I've interfere with the pass.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating because it's just like it always seems like these different calls that can go either way always tend to go their way. But I mean, to their credit, they're a pretty disciplined team. So
that's
when they
Belichick, I guess.
Yeah, when they do commit penalties like holding on the last run or doing these different
Do you
things.
think they're cheating?
I mean, to a certain degree, I'm sure
They're too good. That's how they're cheating.
Yeah, it's just like the Legion of Boom went back when they were really great. I mean, they showed a bunch of different clips of them like holding on and doing it so that the ref's not looking, and so I mean, it's just one of those things. Like if you can get away with it, then you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
then they'll say, well, a lot of people, get an edge, try to.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I didn't agree on was, everyone got up in arms with that Gronk hit. And I read a tweet from Richard Sherman afterwards, and he was just like, you don't have, he goes, here are your choices. In those types of situations, everyone's going to say it's a really dirty hit if you go after his knee. Because if you go after his knee, that's an ACL tear probably more than likely. Yeah. If you hit him up top, where do you hit him so that it doesn't look like it's a dirty hit? And he goes, well, the other option is to just let him catch the ball. Well, that's not why I'm getting paid to be out there. I'm getting paid to get out there to stop him from catching the ball.
Right.
And even though their helmets kind of touched, I don't think it was a dirty hit. Barry Church was just trying to make sure he didn't catch the ball. And, there was the right call because, his helmet did hit. But I don't know, man. It's just that idea of like you were saying, like, they just know how to work the system. I think it's part of it. I think it's part of the veteran savvy of being there 12 fucking times is like you can kind of work the system, and that's why you have to play a mistake-free game. You can't fucking give them 60 yards
because they know how to take every edge.
Yeah,
and then also
they had
give
them shut down up until that point, and then Gronk thing. Pass interference, we're on the 5-yard line. Like, that's how quick it happened.
It reminded me of the Super Bowl last year with the Falcons.
Yeah.
I was like, man, the Falcons are going to fucking win this.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Fucking Tom Brady and his model wife and all that bullshit.
Did you see his little TV series? He's got a little Facebook series where it's like Time versus Tom. It's just that old adage that, and then they show him just like working out and being ridiculous, and his wife's like, I've never seen anybody do this or that. And I was like, well, hey, you've never really...
Shut up, Giselle.
Yeah, shut up, you stupid...
you old bitch. And see, that's why the sexual harassment. Sexual harassment, because we just call women bitches. I call anybody a bitch. Yeah. To me, bitch is a neutral term. Right, yeah. Anybody's a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Bitch. And we just say it because, again, Dave Chappelle. It's always, you trifling bitch. That first, I think that was one of the first episodes where he was Nat King Cole. Yeah. And it shows you how they really acted back then. He was just a fucking maniac. He poured that champagne on her. Yeah. You trifling bitch.
Yeah, I mean.
Anyway, back to sports.
Whatever. I think I'm hoping for an Eagles win, but it feels inevitable.
Do you think,
if they had Carson Wentz, I think they'd have a really good shot.
Yeah. Well, they did come out of their offensive shell or their slump last week.
Nick Foles plays like that in the Super Bowl. There's a good chance they win.
I thought maybe the Vikings would have had a spring in their step after that.
After that crazy win,
that terrible block. Can you enjoy witnessing Tom Brady be maybe the best of all time? Can you do that?
I mean,
it's like, well, people that saw Babe Ruth play or maybe they weren't Yankee fans or so. I mean, is there something to be said about just experiencing?
It's hard to deny the run they're on. I mean, you've never seen anything like it in football. And I think the closest thing is in basketball, the Spurs being as dominant as they were for as long as they were.
Well, I was listening to this is another lazy way of doing a show is to talk about what another show said. So, movie quotes, memes, shit other guys said on another show. But I don't necessarily like Colin Cowherd.
Oh yeah, me neither.
But he was saying, because your two titans of team sports, Jordan, Brady.
Yeah.
But he was saying, and you can tell me your opinion on this. To be considered the best or to be the best, you have to play the best.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, a lot of times, didn't play really any kind of dynasties.
Sure, yeah.
He played the Utah Jazz twice, Seattle. Do you remember all of them? I can't. How many? Phoenix,
Trailblazers, and I think the Lakers in one.
That's right. It was Lakers because it was right after Kareem, or right after Magic, and Kareem played one more year, and then he was, or something. It was.
I think it's right before he got AIDS. So,
life is like a box of chocolate, and you know what you're gonna get. AIDS. Yeah, it was the early. I think that was that the first one.
Yeah. But that was the Showtime Lakers coming down. Like that.
Yeah, that's what
they didn't have.
That's what he was saying. So it was just there were shadows. So do you put any? Tom beat the Seahawks when they had a crazy,
You could almost say Tom survived the Seahawks because if the Seahawks run the ball 3 times, that game's a different game.
Well, he beat one of. Because Cowherd was saying a lot of these teams were maybe onto a dynasty. Maybe I could see the Seahawks winning
a few
more in a row.
Yeah,
he did. They weren't in the Super Bowl, but when he stopped Peyton.
Stopped Peyton a lot. Yeah, he beat him in the playoffs.
And some people maybe some people consider Peyton to be one of the best quarterbacks ever.
Right.
What was the other one he said that they beat in the Super Bowl? In the very, very beginning. The Rams look like they may have been going on to maybe a dynasty where they were going to. With Kurt Warner and Marshall Faulk and they that was that was 2001 or that was right after 9/11, and that was kind of.
I think what's underrated about the Patriots is that their defenses were
freaking
solid.
Well, so what do you think though? Before we move on to that, so is it is of all time of all team sport is he going to have? How many did Jordan have? 5,
6.
He had 6.
Yeah.
So this will be 6 for Tom if he wins.
Yeah.
So if they have 6, he's not going to retire. But to say he did.
Mm-hmm.
So is it? Who do you give it to in any sport? Is
the most dominance?
Is Jordan the best player in team sports history, or is Tom Brady?
I think it's Jordan because not only did Jordan have to play and be a dominant force in offense, he's a dominant force in defense too.
He played both ways.
Brady doesn't have anything to do with the defense.
Yeah. Cowherd, he loves Tom Brady, I guess.
I bet.
Yeah. But he was saying, I think what tipped it, or maybe he probably was just going to say Tom.
Either way.
But Brady's been dominant for 17 years.
Okay.
And plus, it's a violent sport. I think that's kind of. But he does, in his opinion, because he played against the best. Quote. That's relative.
Right. Yeah.
That he played against the best, but. I don't know. I don't know much about basketball, so I don't know how good those teams that Jordan was playing actually were.
Well, I think it speaks to Jordan's sustainability that he for so long he wasn't a losing team, and he did have to fight through the Boston Celtics with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. He had to beat.
He was talking about the Pistons.
Isaiah,
he never had to play.
Had to beat the Pistons, and he couldn't beat them until they got rid of part of their defensive depth with a expansion draft. So, I think it's definitely tough to compare the two.
They're different sports, I know.
Right, but I think with Brady, you have that caveat of Brady didn't have the defenses that Peyton Manning had. Peyton Manning had shit for defense most of the time. And so they're putting all their eggs in one side of the field and saying, we have a really good offense, stop us.
Right.
And with Tom Brady, he had, I think a part of it, or the part of the reason that I think you can't put it, or you can't skew towards Brady, is because Belichick is there with his defensive mindset to counteract any problems that you come across. So I think that I'd tip it to Jordan, but that's just me. And
that's not any. That's not just any hatred towards Brady.
No. I think you got to tip your hat to what Brady and Belichick and the Patriots as an organization have been able to do. But I think maybe I don't. I hate that I say this, but maybe I tip it to Brady because how he was successful with different shit every year, almost. Sure, yeah.
That's kind of, what I mean? To me, that's of all the stuff about Brady. To me, that's the most impressive.
Sure.
I mean, somehow Edelman, now Amendola.
Right,
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Brady just like enhances them. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's almost like that Yankee magic kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
Tom's got this. I don't know. I mean, he just does good with whatever he's got.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they'll
that is true.
They almost do like the sabermetric stuff where they take some guy off waivers or somebody got released and it just rejuvenates them.
I think that's maybe one of the reasons that I'll also skew in Jordan's favor is Jordan didn't lose in the finals. There was never a finals that he lost.
That's true. He's been to Super Bowls and lost the Super Bowl.
Right, yeah. So there is a kryptonite to Brady, which is put him on his ass, which is what the Giants did twice.
So Jordan is 6 for 6.
Yeah.
Every time he got to the finals, he won.
He won,
right?
yeah. Yeah, and he was the MVP every time he won. But
Brady would be, say he wins this year, he'd be 6 for what? How many?
6 for 8?
6 for 8?
Which is not, I mean, that's fake.
Yeah.
That's
What
really
the fuck,
good.
Brady? Come on. Be better.
Yeah.
I don't know. And how many, who's the, in football, is it Bradshaw that's got the most?
Rings? No, I think it's
As a quarterback?
It's probably him and Brady that are tied with 5.
Right, yeah, because he got 5 with the steel
Steelers.
curtain in the 70s, yeah. So, yeah, if they win, they'll be the number one team with the most championships.
They'll be tied with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has 6.
They do have 6?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Were they all with Bradshaw?
No, remember
Roethlisberger.
won.
Oh, sorry.
Won 2.
So, yeah. Yeah, so that's Tom will have done them all for the organization.
That's the big
because Pittsburgh had 6, but it was 5 Bradshaw, 1 with Roth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Fuck.
Yeah. And I will say he's, as a QB, it's hard to deny his greatness. It's hard to say that he's not top 10. But I mean, the thing is that
and he's not like a piece of shit either. It'd be different if he was like some like off field stuff. I can say, well, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Right. He puts the
But
game.
he's
puts
not,
the game above his own family. He doesn't give a shit. Like he's like, this game is everything.
Yeah. You know, he's like
Fuck
real,
you, son.
He's, I mean, he's real like cordial in interviews and stuff, and he's not a dick, on camera at least.
Right.
So I was like, it'd be a lot easier if he was,
Right.
But he's like, hey guys, I'll be on. You want me to do a voice on Family Guy? Sure. You mean to be myself on Family Guy? Sure. He's just fuck. I hate him because he's like awesome. He's amazing and nice.
I think it's and it's what's weird is like when you say, okay, is his greatness good enough to overcome average to subpar coaching? So let's just say Brady.
If Belichick wasn't his coach,
so let's just say you swap Brady for Romo the last 10 years. Does Tony have as many Super Bowl rings as...
Well, it's also, I think, luck a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Like,
there's something that's got to be said for luck,
yeah. Because, I mean, if you just have, I don't know. Well, if you're with Belichick, do you not get injured as much because you have better protection? So, well, there is luck, but I was thinking because Romo, like, broke his back every time he stepped on the field. But, I mean... But again, if it's Belichick, maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe he fills those gaps, and that you're protected better.
Right?
So.
Or what if it's you take Brady out of his era and you give him the Miami Dolphins teams that Dan Marino has?
Yeah,
is he still as great? What if you put Dan Marino in with Belichick?
True.
Does Belichick do this with pretty much any quarterback? I don't think it's any quarterback, but I mean, you take the greats,
a talented,
Brett Favre, and just switch the. Switch the dynasty up and
really Dan Marino would really be interesting because Dan Marino's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean,
threw for 5,000 yards
and never
20 years before anybody else could. And
no
that's
Super Bowl,
right? Yeah,
no Super Bowl,
and that's before they gave pretty much the advantage to the receivers with the rule changes.
Yeah,
5,000 yards. That's insane
to not have any championships.
Right?
To not have any.
To go once, to play once, and then he played. I think his rookie year, maybe his second year.
Yeah.
Never went back.
But I think in only the first round too, didn't he?
Yeah,
and then just
couldn't, and that could just
couldn't
be
put anything around him,
right? And that could just be all his organization.
Yeah, there's. I know what you're saying, but there's so many pieces that have to fall, and
right?
You have to have the right front office,
which makes the Patriots run so much more astounding. Like,
because it's like
you're right,
everybody was gold.
Because you're right, he has done it with. I mean, he did it with Troy Brown. He won a Super Bowl. I mean, when they went up against the greatest show on turf. They had a ton of great names on defense. Not that many on offense. He just did the bare minimum, and they won by 3 at the last second. So
yeah,
I mean
that 2001-2 season, yeah.
And they've never I'm thinking back and looking at their Super Bowls. They've never had a dominant win the way the Cowboys did or the way the Niners did, where it's 55-10 or 55-0. Like I think they won on a last-second field goal against the Rams. They won on last-second field goal against the
that's almost more
Panthers?
frustrating. Though,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I think not one year the Cowboys blew out the Bills in the Super Bowl.
They murdered them.
Yeah, like 90. I forget 92 or 93.
And if Leon pays attention, it's in the 60s.
So yeah, you're right. Yeah, but to me, like as a fan, it sucks either way. I'm not saying one loss is better because it's their losses, but
right.
to your team. But man, to lose at the last minute or on a field goal or it's.
Hello.
What was that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was just something coming on. Hopefully, maybe we better get out of here.
Yeah, it's not get murdered.
Maybe I don't know if
Are you broadcasting this and there's this little.
No, I don't know. Okay. I'm scared. Hold me. Maybe we gotta get out of here. Maybe I don't know if this place is haunted.
Sweet.
That Zach guy is gonna come in a minute.
Which one?
From Ghost Hunters. That big rip guy who gets possessed every show.
Yeah. Idiot.
He is an idiot. He's like a douchebag. He's like, we need. How does this work? Man, nothing's working, man.
Hear those dulcet tones.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Is it working?
Well, it's a ghost.
I do love that when Joey's doing that $20,000 period.
Pyramid. A ghost.
A ghost is his answer.
Yeah. Let's see if this works now. Oh my gosh. Well, my computer's possessed. Just vamp for me real quick. You'll vamp? That was a Friends one too. Well, we gotta have the outro music, man. I guess should I edit this out or should I let people hear how human we are?
I'm pretty sure they get a preview of that every.
I know in the regular content.
Right? Yeah.
Let's see.
Come on, you stupid computer. It's green. It's turning green. I feel like that's a.
What in the hell?
What's weird is that it played for half a second and then stopped.
Yeah. What's that about? Oh, there we go.
What'd you do?
I had it muted, I guess. Not on the board, but on the... Man, I'm rusty. Sorry, people. Well, I guess this is our cue to get out of here. Because we blow. Like that girl blew Aziz Ansari. Twice. Oh, well. Well, that was fun in this new studio space. It's haunted, apparently.
Yeah. Not bad.
Good show back. We covered some controversial things, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about it.
We can stand to lose our one listener.
The one listener, yeah.
Screw you, guy.
I mean, if you... you know what? Can we do one more thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to... Hang on. I just got the music to work, but I want to do one more thing.
All right.
And I know you've seen it already,
right.
But do you remember I sent you that thing that I found?
That thing with the thing.
The thing with the thing. That cut together of that guy jumping all that stuff with the commentary.
Yeah.
Was that okay? And you can tell me it's okay. Was that funny?
That was funny.
That was funny as fuck to me. Like I was crying. Like I would watch it, and it's one of those sometimes you watch something over and over, and then it gets fun. It stayed funny. I want to play this, and to me, it's not really the shit happening in the video, but the guy's commentary is amazing. So because I shared it to social media.
Oh, dick.
Yeah. So I'll put it on our Facebook page, the shows, if you want to see like this guy jumping like a little,
it's like a
riding lawnmower or something.
Yeah.
But the guy in the background who's filming it is just he's so intense and he loves what's happening. But the guy, I will say, the funny thing about the video, like the action in it. The guy's getting fucking murdered.
He's not,
like he's just eating it every time.
Oof.
Like,
and it looks like he's putting more and more protective padding on when he's like.
There's one where he runs into a car in the snow. You remember that one?
Oh, who's that chick?
Oh, everyone's doing these big mouth
That's weird.
filter things. Let's see.
Kill it with fire.
Is that that's from The Thing, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that girl pisses me off too. What's a computer? Fuck you, kid. That Apple computer? That Apple or the iPad thing where she's like, "Hey, I'm doing a lot of cool stuff with my iPad." Hey, what are you doing on your computer? What's a computer?
Fuck you, kid.
Fuck you, kid. Oh, here it is. Holy Wait. And if you want to, you should follow this Instagram account, Morons Doing Things.
Yeah.
It's really. Did you go look at it?
I think I follow drunk people doing things, but I don't know if I follow this one yet.
Kids getting hurt is funny too. They shared something. They shared something from Morons Doing, and that's how I saw it. So now I do both. But so this guy's like jumping on this little tiny riding lawnmower, and it's Canadian too. So God bless the Canadians. Man. But just he loves what's happening. He's such a fan. I don't know if I guess the guy's name is Dick, but he says "what the dick" in a minute. That's your favorite part.
It is, yeah.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Roll him.
Oh dick! Oh dick! Holy shit! Holy shit, boys! Oh fuck! Oh, what's a dick? Oh shit! Holy! Oh shit!
In slow motion, you can still hear him. Hear him? Oh,
You okay? Pinner, bud! Fucking pinner! Holy shit! Holy fuck! Holy shit! Oh, dick! Spicy freaking can. Spicy freaking can. Holy shit! Holy shit!
Isn't it the best? I like the kid. You okay?
You okay? Yeah, when he like eats it like on what was that? That was like a shipping crate or something that he like eats it on, and
Yeah, it almost looked like a movie stunt. Like he meant to do it that way, the way he flipped off the back. Oh God. Fucking Pinner. He's so excited. I want to meet that guy.
oh, dick.
What the dick? I like when it's both when he says holy shit and holy fuck. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Oh God, that was great. I hope that was as funny as I thought it was to everyone else. All right, let's try this again. There we go. I did it that time.
Exercise the demon.
I've exercised. This room is clear. Speaking of the Miami Dolphins, that was from Ace Ventura. When he's doing the impression of the poltergeist lady, he was investigating the Miami Dolphins. See how we tie it together? Dan Maria? There's a bunch of shit in there, too. A bunch of movies that I named to try to get that one reference. Sorry. And you know how it's time? How do we know when it's time to go? Movie references. See how we have we've been on long enough. We have like a running gag that we can say now. And I ruined it by referencing that we had a running gag that I called attention to.
That's ruined now.
So what we're going to try to do, and I'm not saying I'm guilty of it, of not being available for shows. I mean, this studio is free every Thursday. We need to try to do
it
every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
So it could be the weekly act.
Yeah.
Weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Like, this is our own studio space. I mean, it really is like a studio now. Like, this is like it's not a spare bedroom. It's not my dining room. You know, it's an actual thing. Got to cram as many as I can in before I leave you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plan. I don't know. You know, if I don't find a job, then I'm staying. But
wise move.
Yeah.
Wise move.
Yeah. Is that? Yeah. We can. If I move, we can always Skype.
Yeah. There you go.
Shows. I have a number that I pay $60 a year for that we never use here. Seriously.
We've had people call in, though. Remember the Great West catastrophe of 2009?
We did. We had Mike Jones call in. Yeah. I mean, my hope was we would make a bunch of prank calls with it or something.
Oh, dang, that'd be a really good idea, yeah.
Because it's the show's number, so it's not any...
We're not risking it.
No, so if they call and they, the show's voicemail picks up, and like, I found something, and I think maybe we'll do it on the next show. Me and you tried to write something once.
Ooh,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
We tried to write a character who was just... Do you remember that? And I thought we only got like 3 or 4 lines. We wrote a lot. Where it was a guy like... Well, I'm just pulling back the curtain now. He was going to be like you would talk to... It would be me playing him, and you would talk to me like it was... And it was just a phone conversation based on this guy at work that was just a fucking know-it-all. And we wrote quite a bit. I thought we just did like a little tiny, and then we said, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a lot. It's like almost 2 pages of like back and forth jokes. You, the straight man, and then asking,
Yeah.
Maybe we should try to finish it.
Let's do it.
We won't.
Okay.
But we'll at least read it. Well, maybe we should finish it and then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, screw that. I was just going to read what we had and say, look what we worked on. Well, maybe we should actually finish it.
Sounds good.
So maybe Dustin sits in with us a few times since he's, then we can have a kind of a more of a round table thing. Kind of get back to the old days where we had 3 people on the show.
3 people, yeah. 3 amigos.
I do miss Nuke, though. I wish it was Nuke still.
Good
but
old Nuke.
he's more private.
Yeah, man. He's
too
got,
private.
yeah.
And he's got like a family.
Yeah, he's a family man.
Or something. Anything else? You know what I'm saying?
I'll see you next week.
That's right. And we'll see you guys next week.
Keep looking up.
Right here on the Weekly Yak. Goodbye.
That was awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Yak.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
Check us out at weeklyyak.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Lighthouses rule.
And subscribe to us on iTunes.
Keep looking up, because that's where it all is.